Right now, your brain is lying to you. Not in a small way, not in a harmless way, but in something so fundamental you've never questioned it: time. Because what if I told you that time isn't actually speeding up, but your brain is making it feel like it is? And even stranger, it has been doing this your entire life without you ever noticing. There is a reason childhood felt endless, and adulthood feels like it's disappearing. And it has nothing to do with clocks. It has everything to do with your mind. Think back for a moment. When you were a child, a single summer didn't feel like 3 months. It felt like a whole era. You remember mornings that stretched forever, days that felt like they had no end, and moments that seemed permanently stamped into memory. But now, you blink. And it's Monday again. You blink again. And suddenly it's the end of the year. So what changed? Did time actually speed up, or did something inside you change how time is experienced? Here's the first uncomfortable truth. Your brain does not measure time like a clock. There is no internal stopwatch in your mind. Instead, your brain builds your perception of time using memory, attention, and experience. That means time is not something you directly feel. It is something your brain reconstructs after the fact. In other words, you are not living inside time. You are living inside a story your brain writes about time, and that story changes depending on what you experience. When you are young, everything is new. New streets, new friends, new rules, new emotions, new discoveries every single day. And novelty is powerful because your brain treats novelty as important. It records more detail, it stores more memory, it pays more attention. So childhood becomes dense with experience. A single day might contain dozens of firsts, and when you look back later, your brain sees a large amount of stored information and interprets it as a long period of time. More memory equals more perceived time. That's why childhood feels stretched. Not because it lasted longer, but because it was fuller. Now compare that to adulthood. Most days are variations of the same pattern. Wake up. Check your phone. Work or study. Eat familiar meals. Return home. Repeat. Your brain is efficient. It recognizes repetition immediately. And when something is repetitive, it stops storing it in detail. It compresses it. It skips recording unnecessary information because it assumes nothing important is happening. So instead of rich memory, you get compressed memory. And when you look back, there is less data stored. So your brain interprets that period as shorter. That's why years can feel like they vanish. Not because they were shorter, but because they were less recorded. Think of your brain like a film editor. Every moment of your life is raw footage. But your brain does not save everything. It edits, it removes repetition, it deletes boring segments, it highlights emotionally intense moments. So your life memory is not a full recording. It is a highlight reel. And the highlight reels always feel shorter than real time because they are missing most of the footage. This creates a powerful illusion. The older you get, the faster time feels. But this is not because time changes. It's because your experience of novelty decreases. When life becomes predictable, your brain goes into efficiency mode. Less attention, less memory, less detail. And when you look back, your brain finds fewer markers of time passing. So years begin to blur together, like chapters missing from a book. The story is still there, but fewer pages were written. So the real question becomes, can you slow time down? Not physically, but subjectively, inside your mind. And the answer is yes, but not in the way people expect. You cannot control time, but you can control how much your brain records. And that changes everything. Because when your brain is actively encoding new experiences, time feels slower in the moment. So how do you do that? You introduce novelty, new environments, new skills, new challenges, new conversations, new perspectives. Anything that forces your brain to pay attention again, because attention is the gatekeeper of memory. No attention, no memory. No memory, compressed time. Darker side to this. Because if nothing changes, your brain continues optimizing for efficiency. Days become indistinguishable. Weeks become interchangeable. Years begin to collapse into each other. And one day, You look back and feel something strange. Not sadness, not regret, but confusion. Where did all the time go? And the unsettling answer is, it wasn't taken from you. It was never fully recorded in the first place. So maybe time isn't speeding up. Maybe nothing external has changed at all. Maybe the world is still moving at the same pace it always has. But your brain has simply stopped noticing as much of it. And the most uncomfortable thought of all is this: you are not running out of time. You are running out of moments your brain remembers. And that changes everything.